Happy Faith It Friday. I've decided that these Faith It Fridays are probably going to be more like an every other week thing. Um, I it just seems to be the way that that's working out. So every other week, that's what I'm shooting for now, and I pray in between, and I ask for guidance to make sure that what I'm coming here with is something that maybe can help somebody. So I've got today titled Joy. I think that there is a lot of joy missing from the world that we live in. And I think that there's a lot of times when we can look at the world and we can see the stuff that's going on around us, whether it's politics or whether it's newspaper stories or whether it's circumstances in your own life, where we can feel very much like things are out of control and that we don't have joy. I myself, the last several years, have walked through a lot of different things. Not something that I'm here to discuss with you specifically. Some of you who know me know some of the things I've had to walk through. And I've had times where I've been very joyful. I've had times where I have not had a lot of joy as well. And I think that's natural and normal for everybody, for the world that we live in. There's going to be those times. But the one thing that I feel that I have discovered through the process of that is that joy is a choice. And because I work in the line of work that I do, where it is direct sales, I always like to say that Damsel is in the direct sales world, but not of it, because there's a lot of things about that industry that I'm not necessarily a fan of. But I feel like we are a little bit different in the arena that we choose to do our work in. Not a little bit different, we're a lot different. But there's a lot of stuff that points to this whole, one of the things my team does frequently, or one of the things that I always did early on, was I built something called a vision board. And I have since revised that. I'm actually sitting here staring at them. They're right here in front of my desk. But I've changed that verbiage to something I call my focus board. And it comes from a time when I was on my knees crying, if you want to know the flat out truth, heartbroken, and in a place where I had lost my joy. And I did not know where to find it. And I remember just praying in that moment. And I wasn't really praying for joy in that moment. I was just heartbroken and confused and didn't know what was happening in my life. And there were a lot of external forces that were creating pressure. And there was a lot of questions that I didn't have answers to. And I just couldn't figure it out. And I think I was just honestly in a place where I was like, God, just what do I do here? And I felt overwhelmingly like the word rejoice came over me. And I don't know if you've ever argued with God. I don't know if you ever have, but I did in that moment. And I said, how? Show me how. I don't even know. Rejoice? You're telling me to rejoice? How? And literally the words of Philippians 4:8 came into my mind at that moment. And I felt like that was a moment where God was saying, fix your focus. Fix your focus and you will find this. And so I had to say, okay, so what am I to do? And here, I've got my King James in front of me here. And it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true. So you can focus on the things that you absolutely know as truth. In this world, that can be, truth. Truth is objective nowadays. Anyone can almost say anything. And it's just because they believe it, it becomes true. But you know the things that are true. You know truth. And if you don't know truth, seek truth. I have had a series of words over the last several years of my life that I was on this quest to find. One of them was peace. One of them was truth. One of them was justice. One of them was love. One of them was freedom. And I really have discovered that every single thing that I was seeking is covered in the blood of Christ. And those are things that he gives to us, but we have to know where to find them. And first of all, it's finding them in him. And the second part of that is finding out you have to know where to focus. You have to know where to look. So focus, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are just. I mean, literally every word that I had been seeking up to that point in my life, he was addressing, like, focus on this. Focus on what you know to be true. Focus on what you know. Whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good, report. If there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. And I love actually 9 that goes along with it. Those things which ye have both learned, sometimes we got to learn it, right? And received, we have to learn it and receive it, and heard and seen in me, Christ, the answer. Hang on, I gotta get it. What those things, and the peace of God shall be with you. That's where peace comes, when you can find that joy. That's where peace comes, when you can know where to look. That's where joy can be a focus. And I think that honestly, like you guys, I get teased a lot. I don't know if you guys have noticed on my feed, on my line. I hope this is coming through because I've got a call coming in. I've had to reject. There we go. I got distracted for a second. I don't know. Okay, I remember where I was. I get teased a lot. People post Aquaman memes to my wall. I am a self-proclaimed mermaid, having spent a good deal of my life underwater as a scuba instructor. And so I get teased a lot with the Aquaman stuff. And I always kind of laugh and I say, you know what is the most attractive thing about him, the persona that he at least portrays to the world, is that he's very joyful. He has that sparkle in his eye, and he has that something extra that a lot of us don't have in our lives. We have a lot of apathy in our lives. We have a lot of drudgery in our lives. We don't have a lot of joy. And so when we see other people who are going through their lives, living their lives with joy, we go, whoa, like that person has that, there's something special about that. And it's a very attractive thing. So joy is a choice. We get to choose this. We get to decide this for ourselves, but we will never find that joy if we are focused on the wrong things. Because so in the world, in the business life that I'm in, there's a lot that's said about, vision or focus or things like that. I don't ascribe really to a lot of the philosophies that are, if you just focus on it, it's going to happen. It's kind of like almost like prosperity message. Hi, Stacy. There's almost a little bit of that happens where people are like, oh yeah, I can just sit on my couch and this is going to happen for me. And it's not about your vibe attracting that to happen. But if you are the kind of person who has joy, there will be more opportunities for you, because people don't want to be around other people who aren't joyful. People don't want to be around grumpy people who are negative all the time and who are toxic. So if you can find that way to funny that this is about focus, and I keep having like things pop up on my phone. This is going to be part of it, guys. Sometimes you just got to turn them off. I do. Turn them off. But it is about what you focus on, and when you find that focus, and then take it to the Bible, because he will give us the desires of our heart. But technically it's the desires of his heart. When we seek him, he gives those to us. Therefore, we will be successful because they're God's plans. I'm getting off topic here, but honestly, you can't control what's coming at you. You cannot control what other people are doing. You can't control what the local media is deciding to cover. You can't control all of the things that are these external forces, but you can control your own heart. You can control, and you can choose joy. You can literally look. I mean, when that rejoice came at me in a very brokenhearted place in my life, I said, I don't know how to do this. And God said, here's your scripture. Find these things. Choose to look at and see these things. Does it mean that I don't see the negative things that are happening? No. They're still there. They're still there. Sometimes louder and more obnoxious and glaring than ever. They're still there. But I get to choose how it affects me. I get to choose to block out some of those things, to say, you know what, this doesn't have to be a part of my life, that I can focus on what is good. I can see the good. I can focus on what is true. I can focus on what is pure, what is lovely. That's all such good stuff. And if you are at a place, or have ever been, or you're struggling to find your way through this, and you're like, gosh, I would really love to have that joy. People say to me, you're so positive all the time. If you lived with me in my day-to-day life, there's probably some times where I've got some very dear friends that get to hear that part. who get to do that. You know, those are the people that if I hit a low point where the outside stuff is overwhelming, I can go to them and I can say, oh, I'm at this place, pray with me, help me, I've got to focus. But I also, every single time now that something like that comes at me, I literally go to the words of Philippians 4:8, and I say, no, I'm going to focus on what is good. I'm going to focus on what is pure. I'm going to focus on what is lovely. And I'm going to choose to live my life through that filter, understanding that I still have to deal with the external forces that can be negative and toxic. And Kara, yes, you are so right. A lot of times it is other people. And we do have the choice as to whether or not we're going to allow them to influence us or affect us. And a lot of times those other people, man, oh man, yes, other people, especially in our lives, the people, I was going to do this on a different one, but I'm going to just lead into this just a little bit. You got to be able to identify the lies of the enemy. You got to know what is true, what is right, what is just. You have to be able to block out, because it's not just people around you sometimes. Sometimes it's the toxicness in your own head that's like, you know, the negative voices you've heard your whole life. It doesn't make them true. I mean, everybody's got their flaws. Everybody's got their weaknesses. I am certainly not a perfect person. I am certainly not a perfect Christian. I'd love to be. Who wouldn't love to be? But you can't let the people who are out there that want to take every single thing that you've ever done wrong in your life and use it against you. There is salvation. There is redemption. There are these things. And sometimes those are the lies of the enemy that just keep coming at you, that just want to keep badgering you and bashing you with that kind of stuff. But it won't bring you joy if you listen to that. It won't bring you joy if you ascribe to that. It won't bring you joy if you let that be. If they drag you down, for sure. Been there, walk through that. Sometimes still walk through that. And there's only a certain point to where you can actually get people out of your life sometimes. You know, some people you can't get out of your life no matter how hard you try. So it is a matter of how you choose to deal with them. It is a matter of how much weight you give what they say. It is a matter of how much at first, it's hard to choose joy. But I would really just love to let you guys know that it absolutely is a choice. You do have a choice. You can choose joy. And if you're struggling within that, and with joy comes peace, with joy comes love, with joy comes everything that you're looking for in life. Make the list, figure it out, study it, research it, figure out what you're really looking for. Because I think the other side of that is far too often, too many people are drifting through life without any specific goal, without saying, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do. And so that's that life of apathy. An apathetic life is the opposite of joy. It is the opposite of a purpose-driven life where you know what you're going after and you're actually going after it. And that brings a lot of joy too, when you feel like you've hit your stride with that calling and with that purpose. But it all starts with joy, because you'll never even be able to look at purpose and calling and the other things until sometimes you can get yourself down to that place where you're like, I need to figure out where my joy is, because sometimes it feels hidden too. So what you focus on expands, not necessarily in the way that a lot of our law of attraction kind of people are promoting it, not in the way that a lot of people are in that prosperity mindset are promoting it. But what you focus on does expand, and there are ways for you to find and embrace joy. Sometimes it starts as just a little tiny nugget, little tiny seed, like the mustard seed, okay? And then it can grow from there. So I just want to encourage everybody on this Friday. This is my Faith It Friday for today. It's all about joy. And anytime this speaks to you, if it's something that you feel you want to share with others, you feel there's something in what I've said that you think will help them, just choose your focus. Choose where you want that to be, and you do get to choose the life that you want to live. If you feel like you're stuck someplace, you're not. It can all change in the blink of an eye. It's a matter of making choices. But until you know why you're making those choices, until you're choosing joy, which is a choice, I'm going to keep saying it till somebody believes me, then those are never going to happen in your life. So have a blessed weekend. And I will be back I'm always on my Facebook page here with you guys, but in general, for the Faith It Fridays, my focus right now isn't focusing on every single week. It is focusing on when I feel that I have something that could be of value. But it is a matter of probably looking about like every other week, because that seems to be the way it's working out. So have a wonderful weekend. If there's anything that you feel I've walked through in life that I can help you with, that I have the experience with, that I can help, if you are in that place where you're struggling to find your joy, feel free to reach out to me. I I feel like God leads us through things so that sometimes we can help others and say, you know what, I've been down that same path. I've been down that same road. Here's what I found. And sometimes you can be that ray of sunshine for somebody else to help them through that too. So have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks, probably for Faith It Friday. I'll probably be live for something else in between. And may God bless you. Bye, guys.